What's going on, all you gamers? Today we're back with some more Cyberpunk 2077, and I'm going to be going over comparing two of the very best operating systems in the game. So if you want to know what the pros and cons are, why you may be picking the Sandevistan, or why you might want to go for the Berserk, then stay tuned, that's coming up next. Welcome back everybody. Today we're back with a little bit more Cyberpunk 2077. We're in Night City and it's an absolutely gorgeous day. What we're going to be doing is testing out what I believe are the two best operating systems in the game. One's going to be for the Sandevistan, the other's going to be for the Berserk. I'm going to be telling you why you may want to pick one over the other. So the first one we're going to be looking at is going to be this one right here, the qiant Sandevistan Mark IV. In my opinion, this is the overall package. If you want to be able to keep constant slow-mo, if you just want a lot of fun in your game, and you want to be able to take everything out with ease, this is going to be the operating system for you. Slows time to 25% for 12 seconds, with a cooldown of just 15 seconds. And that's why this one overall is probably going to be your best bet. It's going to increase any damage dealt by 15%, and increase your crit chance by 15%. If you wanted to swap out of this one and try something slightly different, the Sandevistan Mach IV qiant Warp Dancer will probably be your other choice. This is going to slow time to just 10% and only for 8 seconds with a cooldown of 30 seconds, but the main thing this is going to give you is 35% extra crit damage, meaning you're going to get some crazy damage off if you want to use this, but you won't be able to use constant slow-mo like you will be with this one right here, the qiant Sandevistan Mark IV. Now, I have said it in a previous video, but just in case you need to know, in order to get the most from these systems, if you want to be able to use them most often, bioconductors, whatever the best one you can put on, we've got a legendary one here. It's going to mean your cooldowns are 30% off, absolutely massive. Kerenzikov really helps you to get a little bit of slow-mo when you're doing your dodges whilst holding your weapon out and such. And Nano Realize increase your Sandevistan and Kerenzikov duration by 2 seconds. Also, don't forget your heat sinks, so you're going to bop over to your operating system and chuck in these, which is going to reduce the cooldown by 4 seconds each. So the main reason that you'll be using the Sandevistan as your operating system will be for that slow motion effect. If I activate it here, like I said, we've got 12 seconds of uptime. Because of everything we've got going on in our build as well, we're also going to get it back ridiculously fast. Within this time, everything is slow 25%, but you can still go about your business. And if I have a little look there, I'm now completely back in it. It's just ridiculously broken. You can do any of the toughest content in the game and have a lot of fun while you're doing it. But if I show you, say for example, this fella. So we've popped in, we're going to be out of our slow-mo, everything should be able to finish us off, but we're back in it again. And we're just going to have a bit of fun. See you later, mate. There's not much that anyone can do whilst you're in this. It is absolutely broken and just ridiculously fun. Again, I'm going to look above. See you later. And then off you trot. Literally, if you want to be almost unkillable, I'd say, this is probably going to be the thing you're after. And you'll be able to take on the toughest content in the game, even the police at the hardest setting, without too much trouble once you've got a really good slow-mo build going on. Also works really well if you wanted to mix it up a little bit and go into, say, a katana. So here's our next group of unlucky bystanders, shall we say. And just look how easy this is. They can't do anything. It's very unfair, but a lot of fun for one of your playthroughs is definitely have it on one of these slow-mos, and the qiant Sandevistan Mark IV is the best by a mile in my opinion, because you just constantly are in this slow-mo effect. So now you're probably thinking, why on earth would you want any other kind of operating system, and what could possibly compete with it? So I'm going to tell you the pros and cons of probably the best Berserk one. Now you've got two to choose from that are absolutely amazing. I myself personally think the Militech Berserk Mark V is by far the best. This one's going to boost your strength, reduce your weapon recoil by 15%, weapon sway by 15%, increase your melee damage by 15%, and increase armour and resistances by 10%, with a duration, massive duration of 60 seconds with a 60-second cooldown. It has got a high cooldown, but if you can't take everything out within that 60 seconds, there's probably something wrong with the build somewhere. You can pretty much take out anything with this, and it's a lot of fun whilst you do. Also quite a fun feature, whilst Berserk is active, jumping from a high height initiates a superhero landing, causing you to fall at high speed and land with enough force to create a shockwave. Basically you're going to damage your enemies, you're going to do a shockwave around you. It's just a nice little added feature. You won't be using it too often, but it is quite a cool effect. Another amazing reason you'll be using this, defeating your enemies restores 5% of max health when Berserk is active. And the icing on the cake, gain 40% more health when Berserk is active and increase your stamina by 40%. You're going to have a massive health pool, you're going to have more stamina than you'll know what to do with, and it's going to be the perfect counter to slow-mo effect. Whereas with slow-mo, you're going to be making sure you're not getting hit because you can go around everything. With this, if you are hit, you're going to try to regenerate your health through getting kills and fast-paced combat. I find Berserks definitely work best up close and personal, usually with your melee weapons. You can still use guns, but melee I find definitely works best. If you didn't want this one, the other option, the Zetatech Berserk Mark V is probably your other best option. This one's got a 30-second uptimer with a cooldown of just 30 seconds. So if you want to be able to use it a little bit more but not have as much uptime, then this is the one you'll choose. Does exactly the same as the other one did, but doesn't give you the extra stamina, doesn't give you the extra health, but gives you 5% extra on your melee damage. So the choice is up to you. I prefer the Militech Berserk 5 overall. Now again, you're going to want your cooldowns if you can, you're going to want everything we've got. The nano relays won't help much with this, but just over here, what you're going to want to put on, 100% needed, is going to be this one right here, your beast mode. You're going to want to go out and find this mod. While Berserk is active, increases your armor resistance and health regeneration by 15%. That's huge, absolutely huge. With what you've got going on in your skill trees, where you can get health regen going on every time you get a kill and things such as that, and on hit, this is going to make your build ridiculously powerful. Also, melee attacks deal 100% more damage when Berserk is active. That is definitely the best mod in my opinion. Then just chuck anything else that you want in. You could get some reduction on the Berserk cooldown, or you could get something like when Berserk is active, increases your crit chance. I actually prefer this one just because getting as much crit chance as possible works perfect in those really close range builds with this on. So I've chucked on 2 of those and we've got a double damage and extra regen. Lastly, any kind of close range weapon will do. I'm digging the Satori at the moment. I like the bit of crit damage you get on it. The base damage isn't as high as our other katanas, but if you have a look at that crit damage when it comes off, it's well worth seeing and the numbers can be quite exceptional. There'll be a few main reasons why you may pick this Berserk over the Sandevistan. One, I would say, would be if you don't like the slow-mo effect, not everyone does. The other would be if you're using certain builds, so if you go for your finishers with your katanas or even your mantis blades, that pulls you out of slow-mo. So if you love those in your build, you probably won't want that on. Another reason, up close and personal, melee, this just does the most damage. It's a lot of fun to watch, and like I said, the uptime is massive. So here we've got a minute to go around and do whatever we absolutely want. The damage, what was that, 8.5? We can get a lot more than 8.5. I've seen this go up to like 20 or something like that, but it's just a lot of fun. Not much has a chance against you as well, plus your health regen going on. It's not quite as cheaty, I want to say, as the Sandevistan, because in that effect you could get in and out of combat without being seen, without too much impact whatsoever. But with this, it feels a little bit more fair, but still very brutal. So if I can find someone else. So again, activated it. Pop in, see you later, See you later. See you later. Even without any crits whatsoever, we're hitting like 6s. Like I said, I've seen it hit a lot higher than that. I must have changed something in my build somewhere. But you get the general attention. Whoa, see you later. You get the general gist. Yeah. Honestly, this one is pretty exceptional. Berserk is just crazy, especially if you like using your fists or up close personal. It's going to get the job done on pretty much any setting. You will still struggle at some stages, for example if you're fighting against the toughest police officers, whereas with slow-mo Sandevistan you can't really be beaten. You can get in, you can get out. It feels a little bit like you're cheating at some points because of how powerful it actually is. But this one is a lot of fun, and I'd say probably more so if you're going for that melee build, this would be the one you'll want. But yeah, let me know in the comments which one do you prefer and why would you be using them. As always, for all things gaming, for all things Xbox. I'll see you all on the next day.